Cold rain slicks the rotting leaves of a dark, primeval forest. The air smells of ozone, wet iron, and absolute dread. You are a Roman legionary, marching through the dense, trackless wilderness of Germania. Your armor is heavy, rust is creeping onto your sword, and the trees seem to be closing in. Suddenly, a war cry shatters the silence. Thousands of screaming warriors burst from the shadows. In our history, this was the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest. 3 Roman legions were slaughtered. The Roman expansion stopped, forever. Emperor Augustus allegedly wandered his palace, screaming, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions." But what if Varus had listened to the warnings? What if Rome had won? Picture the scene. It is 9 AD. The Germanic chieftain Arminius prepares his trap. But this time, the Roman scouts do their job. They spot the ambush. Varus does not march blindly into the bog. Instead, the legions form an unbreakable wall of interlocking shields. The Roman war machine does what it does best. It systematically crushes the rebellion. Arminius is captured, dragged to Rome in chains, and the Germanic resistance is shattered. With this single victory, the course of human history is rewritten. Immediately, the Roman border shifts. It does not stop at the Rhine. It pushes hundreds of miles east, all the way to the Elbe River. This is not just a change on a map. It is a seismic shift in the human landscape. Rome immediately begins doing what Rome does best, building. The deep, dark forests of Germania are sliced open by straight, stone roads. Fortresses rise at strategic river crossings. Cities emerge. Cologne, Frankfurt, and Mainz are not just border outposts, they become massive, thriving metropolises of stone, marble, and concrete. Imagine walking through a Roman city in what is now northern Germany. You see public baths, open-air theaters, and temples dedicated to Jupiter and Mars. The Germanic tribes are not wiped out. Instead, they are Romanized. This is the crucial turning point. In our world, the Romans viewed the Germans as wild, untamable beasts. In this new timeline, they become citizens. Germanic chieftains learn Latin. They trade their furs for togas. Their sons are sent to Rome to be educated in philosophy and rhetoric. Within 2 generations, the wild warriors of the north are fighting for Rome, not against it. And that is when the dominoes really begin to fall. Fast forward 3 centuries. In our history, this was the era of the migration period. Starving, desperate tribes, the Goths, the Vandals, the Huns, pushed against the Roman borders, eventually breaking them and bringing down the Western Roman Empire. But in this alternate timeline, there is no border to break. The very people who invaded Rome in our world are now the backbones of the Roman legions. The Goths are Roman. The Vandals are Roman. The Franks are Roman. When the Huns sweep in from the east, they do not find a decaying, divided empire. They find a hyper-militarized, unified superpower spanning from the sands of Sahara to the cold shores of the Baltic Sea. Attila the Hun is not a scourge, he is a minor footnote, easily crushed by a Roman army of ironclad legionaries and fierce Germanic cavalry fighting under the same golden eagle. Because of this, the Western Roman Empire never falls. Think about what that means for our modern world. Without the fall of Rome, the Dark Ages never happen. The burning of libraries, the loss of concrete-making technology, the centuries of localized feudal warfare, all of it is erased from history. Science, engineering, and philosophy continue to progress without a 1,000-year interruption. We might have had an industrial revolution in the 8th century. Human beings could have walked on the moon while our world was still in the Middle Ages. But the cultural map of the world changes even more drastically. Think about Europe today. It is defined by the division between the Romance-speaking South and the Germanic-speaking North. It is a division that sparked countless wars, including both world wars. But if Rome conquered Germania, that division vanishes. The German language as we know it never develops. Instead, a dialect of Vulgar Latin becomes the dominant tongue from Spain to Poland. There is no France, no Germany, no England. There is only a single, massive, Latin-speaking European identity. And what about England? In our timeline, Anglo-Saxon tribes from Germany invaded Britain after the Romans left, creating the English language and culture. But if those tribes were already Romanized, England remains a Roman province. The English language, with its complex mix of Germanic and Latin roots, is never born. You and I would be speaking a modern descendant of Latin right now. But here is the final, chilling twist. An empire that never falls is an empire that never stops growing. With the resources of a unified Europe and a booming scientific revolution, Rome would have crossed the Atlantic centuries before Columbus. Imagine Roman galleons, powered by steam engines, arriving on the shores of the Americas. The Aztec and Inca empires would have faced a Roman war machine at the height of its technological power. A global Roman Empire. A world of concrete, law, and Latin, stretching from London to Tokyo. It is a breathtaking vision of the future. A world of unparalleled technological advancement, but also one of brutal, authoritarian uniformity. A world where individual cultures were absorbed and erased by the Roman monolith. And all of it, every city, every language, every modern nation, hinged on a single, rainy afternoon in a German forest, 2,000 years ago. What do you think? Would a Romanized world have been a golden age of progress, or a global tyranny? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to keep exploring the infinite paths of history, make sure to hit that subscribe button. The past is full of secrets, and we are just getting started.